I think him going to 170 to fight Islam, if Islam wins, is a stretch, you know. Islam's big, man. I've never seen Ilia in person, but he seems smaller. I know, obviously, he can knock anyone out. I do think if they fight, Ilia can knock anybody out from 45 to 170. He has the skills, the power, the technique, and but we've just never seen him in there with somebody that big and somebody with that caliber of wrestling. But I think he should defend the 55 title a few times before that's talked about. We'll see.
I mean, we see what happens, you know. If he does that on the run that he's doing, I mean, it's kind of hard to deny that, you know. And that would be a freaking huge super fight. And with him having the punching power he has, is just unreal, bro. So you can't count him out in whatever, in anything. But I mean, who's to say? You know, that's not my job. I mean, if he goes up.
Dustin Poirier has just shared a shocking breakdown of the fight between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev. Arman Tsarukyan voiced that Ilia Topuria needs to be tested against a top-level grappler like himself to show he truly belongs at Islam Makhachev's tier. He argued that Ilia's previous opponents were not at their best physically, and he strongly believes that a prime Volkanovski would have beaten Topuria handily.
If he beat me, he's gonna be on the same level as Islam. He gotta beat like someone like me, you know, who can wrestle. Yeah. He just had easy fights on his career, you know. He beat legit fighters, but not on their prime. If he met Volkanovski 4 years ago, Volkanovski just eat him.
Chael Sonnen stated that Islam Makhachev probably will not fight at lightweight again, since cutting to 155 has always been his biggest struggle. He explained that if Islam captures the welterweight title, a fight with Ilia Topuria becomes even less likely. Sonnen said the only way that bout could realistically take place is if Islam fails at 170 and chooses to return to his old weight class.
Islam returning to 155 is a real stretch for me. I think that Islam is going to be a lot like Ilia, which is, hey, this is great. Thank goodness I got here. Most unpleasant experience that Islam has had in the sport is just beating the scale at 155. I'm very confident in telling you guys, if Islam has success at 170 and becomes the champion, that whatever dreams you have of Islam versus Ilia haven't gotten closer, they got further apart. If you have a dream of seeing Islam versus Ilia, it's very unlikely, but the best way to get there would be if Islam was to lose at 170.
However, Dustin Poirier said the idea of Ilia Topuria moving to 170 to fight Islam Makhachev is a bit of a stretch. He explained that Islam is a big lightweight, and although he has not seen Ilia in person, Ilia seems smaller. Poirier admitted that Ilia has the power, skills, and technique to knock out anyone from 145 to 170. However, he pointed out that Ilia has never faced someone with Islam's size and wrestling ability. Poirier added that Ilia should defend the lightweight title a few times before talk of moving up begins.
I think him going to 170 to fight Islam, if Islam wins, is a stretch, you know. Islam's big, man. I've never seen Ilia in person, but he seems smaller. I know, obviously, he can knock anyone out. I do think if they fight, Ilia can knock anybody out from 45 to 170. He has the skills, the power, the technique, and but we've just never seen him in there with somebody that big and somebody with that caliber of wrestling. But I think he should defend the 55 title a few times before that's talked about. We'll see.
Moreover, Max Holloway said if Ilia Topuria keeps winning and moves up, it would be hard to deny him. He called it a huge super fight and said Ilia's power is unreal. He believes Ilia cannot be counted out in any matchup. Holloway said it is not his decision, and if Ilia moves up, that is his choice. He admitted he wants the rematch, but will not tell Ilia to stay or complain. He believes Ilia deserves the opportunity and said the fight would be exciting if it happens.
I mean, we see what happens, you know. If he does that on the run that he's doing, I mean, it's kind of hard to deny that, you know. And that would be a freaking huge super fight. And with him having the punching power he has, is just unreal, bro. So you can't count him out in whatever, in anything. But I mean, who's to say? You know, that's not my job. I mean, if he goes up, he goes up. You know, he's his man. You know, do I want that fight back? 100%. But and I can't be like, hey, stay down here, blah, 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 and cry about it. So at the end of the day, if he does that, which he probably deserves it, not probably, he deserves it. So I think that would be a fun fight too. I think that it'd be super interesting if that fight ever was booked.
Arnold Allen expressed interest in seeing Islam Makhachev go up against Ilia Topuria, but acknowledged that Islam might steer clear of the matchup. According to Allen, Islam is likely more focused on strengthening his legacy by taking on established names, especially after recently facing opponents with limited preparation time. He noted, however, that if Islam were to defeat Topuria, it would make a major statement about his place in the sport.
I'd like to see him fight Islam. I'd like to see him fight Islam, but I mean, I understand why Islam wouldn't want it, right? He wants to fight legit contenders, and he's had like featherweights, ex-featherweights, late notice guys, replacements. He wants to sort of solidify his title reign, but probably is no bigger fight than Ilia, right? If he goes and batters Ilia, it looks pretty good.
When it came to making a pick, Allen admitted he's been wrong in the past when doubting rising stars. Because of that, he said he's not ready to completely write off Topuria. Still, his belief is that Islam would come out on top, though he expects it to be a very competitive battle.
Every time I've ruled him out, he proves me wrong, so I'm not going to do it again. Yeah, like I say, yeah, I think Islam wins and he gets ironed out, so, but yeah.
Jan Błachowicz called the potential Islam versus Topuria clash a thrilling one to watch, but firmly believes Makhachev is performing at his peak right now. He said Islam has hit his stride and expects him to continue ruling the division for years to come.
But it's gonna be a very good fight to watch. So, but I think Islam is like, you know, right now he got his, you know, prime time, and nobody will stop him. Couple more years, I think so.
Cody Brundage gave his thoughts on a potential matchup between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev, applauding Ilia's knockout victories over big names like Max Holloway and Alexander Volkanovski. He said beating Islam could push Ilia into the conversation for all-time greats, maybe even top 3. Brundage also noted that Ilia's grappling is underrated, mentioning his solid wrestling and jiu-jitsu. Still, he leaned slightly toward Islam due to his size advantage, expecting a competitive and thrilling fight.
It's a crazy fight. You know, we talked about that. You know, Yusuf obviously at 145, he's on a tear. He's making his come up, and he wants that Ilia fight so bad. They already fought once, but we were talking about if Ilia goes in and knocks out Islam Makhachev, like how high do we put him on the GOAT list? Right? Like to me, I'm like, John Jones is #1 no matter what. I don't think anybody could surpass John Jones for a long time. Obviously it would take a ton, but everyone in my circle at least is like, man, if he goes and knocks out Islam after knocking out Holloway, after knocking out Volk, he's got to be up there like top 3, and he could do it. I think people, like, he's been knocking all these people out. People really sleep on Ilia's grappling. He's a super high level black belt with really good submissions, really good wrestling, and so I think people are worried, like saying like, oh well, he'll get out wrestled, but he has great wrestling. So man, I don't know. I would have to go with Islam because he's bigger, and I think weight maybe plays a factor when you have 2 really highly skilled guys, but that would be an absolute banger of a fight.
Bilal Muhammad took aim at Ilia Topuria for trying to leap into lightweight title contention without earning his spot. He stated that Topuria should first square off with names like Arman Sarukian, Justin Gaethje, or even Paddy Pimblett. Bilal warned that if Ilia skips the line and loses, it could hurt Islam's credibility, just like what happened when he beat Volkanovski, who moved up a weight class.
I think he needs to earn it. I think he needs to fight either Oliveira or Justin or even Paddy right now to show the fans that, all right, he is a lightweight. Because you're going to look at it and then you're going to see how much bigger Islam than is him. And then there are people who are going to say the same thing that Islam, what happened when Islam beat Volkanovski. Oh, well, you just beat a 45er. That's all you did. He's smaller. Look at his title reign. It was a 45er, another 45er, but Volkanovski at the time was #1 pound for pound.
Mateusz Gamrot thought the matchup sounded exciting on paper, but said Topuria's size could be a major disadvantage. He explained that to go head-to-head with someone like Islam, you need to be just as strong and physically imposing. In his eyes, Topuria might fall short when it comes to matching Makhachev's raw physical strength and all-around abilities.
For me, interesting fight, but I don't know. Topuria is small guy. Islam is really big guy. And I don't think that Topuria has changed against him, you know. Like, if you wanna fight with Islam, you have to be like big guy, like similar like him, because he's good everywhere. But if your body is smaller than him, so you don't have change for sure.
Bo Nickal named Islam Makhachev the top pound-for-pound fighter right now, but didn't rule out Ilia Topuria. He brought up how well Volkanovski wrestled in their first meeting, hinting that Topuria might be able to pose similar problems. In Nickal's view, Ilia has the potential to really test Islam's skill set across all areas.
I think he's the pound-for-pound #1 right now, and I think he can win. And what makes me think that Ilia will do really well against Islam is that Volk's first fight with Islam. I'm like, man, Ilia's wrestling is way better than Volk's. And obviously, you could see how the striking went.
Jorge Masvidal showed full faith in Ilia Topuria's ground defense and grappling, even saying he'd stake everything on him. He praised Ilia's ferocious approach and his ability to stuff takedowns. Masvidal pointed out that one mistake against Topuria could easily shift the fight in his favor, as he's capable of quickly reversing any position.
I'd bet the house on Ilia. His grappling, offensively, it's very good. If you shoot it on this guy's legs, and you make a mistake and you're the one going for the takedown, he has a very good chance that he might put your ass to sleep.
Michael Chandler also weighed in, pointing out that Islam is clearly the larger man in terms of size. He acknowledged Makhachev's high-level ground game, but gave Topuria the upper hand in striking exchanges. Chandler said if Ilia can avoid takedowns and remain upright, he's got a real opportunity. Even so, Chandler sees Islam's experience and full arsenal of skills making him the likely winner.
If Islam fights Ilia, I think there's definitely a size difference. I think Ilia is a lot smaller than Islam. Islam is a big lightweight, a tall lightweight, and he's good in every area. However, Ilia's definitely got the edge in the striking department, and Ilia is very, very, very patient. Now, if he's able to not get taken down and he's able to just patiently break down Islam with those big shots that he lands, the big punches that he lands, it's going to be a good night for Ilia. But I think if Islam gets his hands on him and gets him taken down, grappling with 145-pounders is a lot different than grappling with Islam, who is one of the best grapplers that we've seen in a very long time. He's strong. He's great at doing damage and getting good positions. I'd have to give the edge to Islam just by size, by strength of schedule thus far and defending the belt, but I wouldn't count Ilia out.
Jamahal Hill put his confidence behind Ilia Topuria's chances against Islam Makhachev. He emphasized Ilia's quickness, unpredictable striking, and one-punch knockout threat. Hill said if Topuria connects cleanly, he could shut the lights out, regardless of the opponent's weight class.
I believe he's capable of beating Islam. Just what I've seen and personally too, just hand speed, the tricks and the way he plays with his striking game. I believe he's definitely capable of catching Islam. And if he catches anybody, I believe he can knock them out. I believe his power might even carry. Not saying that his size and things like that, he can move up to those higher weight classes, but if he catches it, the way he hits it, if somebody even in the bigger weight classes get like that, he can put them on Wobble Street.
Colby Covington thinks Ilia Topuria could pull off a shocking upset over Islam Makhachev. He pointed to Islam's razor-close fight with Volkanovski as proof he's not invincible. Covington also criticized Makhachev's performance against Dustin Poirier, calling it underwhelming and saying that makes a potential clash with Ilia even more interesting.
I don't know. I think Topuria might upset him. I think he has the ability to upset him. That first Makhachev-Volkanovski fight was really close. A lot of people thought that Volkanovski won that fight. So, I think the blueprint is out there for Makhachev. And I didn't think he looked that good in the last fight versus Dustin. He looked beatable. He didn't look like invincible. So, I think that'll be an interesting fight. Who do you got in that one?
Covington further explained that the key factor will be whether Islam can consistently ground Topuria or if Ilia escapes and keeps the fight standing. Since Topuria has been taken down in the past, he said he's eager to see how Ilia responds to Islam's relentless ground attack.
I think that'll be the key to the fight. Can Makhachev get him to the ground, or is Topuria slippery enough to get away? Because he did get taken down in a couple of his fights, so.
Chase Hooper shared how impressed he was with Islam's most recent showing, especially his striking development. He mentioned that fighters like Khabib relied heavily on grappling, while Islam and others from Dagestan are now showing complete arsenals. Hooper said that a well-rounded approach makes them dangerous for everyone in the weight class, but he still expects Islam to keep winning.
Honestly, I was really impressed. Islam's last time out, I felt like his striking was really improving. So I think that's, especially when you look back at Khabib's fights, he's much more of a pure grappler. and then you see Islam and you see Umar and these newer generation Dagestani guys. I think they're a lot more well-rounded, which sucks for everybody else in the division. But I don't know. I think Islam still takes it.
Yeah.
Beneil Dariush said he would back Islam Makhachev in a showdown with Ilia Topuria, mainly because of Islam's size, ability to dictate range, and strategic use of low kicks in wrestling. Dariush said that combination could really trouble Ilia, though he did leave the door open for a surprise finish if Topuria catches him clean.
I think it would still go the same. I think, Islam has such a big size advantage, and if he, distance kicks, takedown, rinse and repeat. If he continues to mix those things up, I think it would be a difficult fight for Ilia. But, from what I saw, it wouldn't surprise me if he was able to put Makhachev's lights out too.
Corey Sandhagen had a different view and picked Topuria to win. He said Ilia's body type makes it harder for opponents like Islam to complete takedowns. In a striking contest, Sandhagen believes Ilia has a big edge. He also praised Ilia's defensive instincts and said Islam wouldn't have many tools to hurt him.
I honestly think Ilia would win that fight.
Let me get your breakdown of that fight.
I'm gonna actually go against, I think, what most people say, and I honestly think Ilia would win that fight. I think his stature is going to be hard to take down for Islam, and I think if those two are standing, I just think that Ilia is a way dangerous guy standing, and I just can't really see Islam hurting him because his guard is real good, and I think Ilia will win that one.
Demetrius Johnson gave a technical breakdown of the fight, highlighting how Islam's left-handed stance allows him to use body kicks and movement to control space. He also mentioned that Islam could fall back on his judo background if things get close, aiming to take the fight to the canvas for a possible finish.
Well, Islam's a southpaw, so he's gonna probably throw body kicks to keep his arms busy, keep a distance, move, feint, maybe use some judo to take him down and try to get him to the ground and try to submit him. But once again, I have to see. I have to see what Islam does to JDM.
Johnson also said that Ilia becomes a serious threat once he gets comfortable with his distance. Even if it takes a while, Johnson believes Ilia will figure it out. The real question, according to him, is whether Islam can avoid Ilia's danger zone or if he'll be pulled into it.
But, I know the one thing that's the factor is that Ilia is always going to focus on getting to the right spot and find his opponents. When he gets there, he's going to unload. If Ilia can't get there, then he's going to figure out another way to get there. So the question is, how does everybody avoid that sweet spot against Ilia? That's the question, because Ilia is going to fight in a 25-minute fight. That's what it comes down to. And then you go from hey, how does Islam keep Ilia away from that spot, or does Islam meet him there? Right? There's so much, that goes into it, and my brain is all over the place. So for me to give a clear-cut answer, I'm just I'm running around in circles.
In another interview, Arman Sarukian doubled down on his opinion that if Islam and Ilia had met at UFC 317, the result would have been a brutal knockout. He insisted that Islam is operating on a whole different level, though Sarukian made it clear that his goal remains to surpass even Makhachev and become the top fighter globally.
What do you think would have happened if Ilia fought Islam this weekend?
Islam Makhachev.
He would have beaten him?
By TKO.
Oh, wow. Really?
No, I mean, that's a different level of fighters.
You think so? Wow.
You can't compare Ilia versus Islam.
Really? I have Ilia number one pound for pound now.
Yes, because Islam not champion anymore right now.
Right.
But when he get the second title, he's gonna be pound for pound number one.
So you think he beats Jack?
He beats Jack.
Yeah.
Became a pound for pound number one. I'll be pound for pound number two, champion lightweight division, and then beat Islam and became a pound for pound number one.
Joe Rogan gave his approval for Ilia Topuria to get a shot at the lightweight belt, arguing that he's done more than enough to deserve it. Rogan mentioned Ilia's knockout victories over big names like Max Holloway and Volkanovski as solid evidence that he's ready to compete with the best at 155 pounds.
Because you have a world champion versus a world champion. If anybody deserves a fight for the world title in the next weight class, it's you. It's simple. It's simple. You knocked out Max Holloway. I mean, it's simple. You knocked out Alexander Volkanovski, one of the greatest of all time. It's simple. That's a no-brainer. That's the fight. You know, he doesn't want to fight 45 anymore. He wants to fight 55. World title shot.
Eddie Cha praised Ilia Topuria for his sharp technique, particularly his striking accuracy and awareness of range. He also pointed out Ilia's solid grappling, developed during his time in Brave. Still, Cha expressed doubt over whether Ilia could handle the size difference when facing a bigger opponent like Islam. In the end, he leaned toward Islam having the advantage.
People probably think I'm crazy, but I think that Ilia can get it done.
Okay.
He's one of my favorite guys to watch right now. His distance game. I mean, if you've seen him when he was like 6 or 7-0 at Brave before the UFC, he would just take guys down and just grapple. You know, I think that was his biggest strength. That's why I'm so impressed with that guy, because for him to be as good in striking in a short amount of time, understanding the game and how he runs his offense, it's phenomenal. So. Size factor is my biggest concern, and I think the grappling, we'll see what happens, but I like Ilia on that one.
That's it for today's video. So what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about their potential matchup? Share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. Also check out our other videos on the screen right now.